Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Vibing with Nessa. I know I've been gone for a long time, but like I always forget, let me say, can you like and subscribe this video and follow for more videos? I'm trying to be doing this on a regular basis, but I have a lot going on, so I will post as I can and when I feel like it's necessary. So guys, I'm coming to you guys today with a CNA video. So it's gonna be about my journey so far at CNA. If you haven't watch my video before about how I became a CNA, what were the steps, what was the trials and tribulations, what else occurred. So we're gonna go ahead and get started in this video. Let's go. I do have to warn you guys, I do have my two younger kids downstairs, so you are going to be hearing them. I'm going to try to like cut it out and start over if you do hear them, or I will try to, if it's not too loud, I'll try to just keep going. But you will hear them in the background. Mind you guys, I do have 3 kids. 2 are home right now, so I have my 8-month-old and then I have my 2-year-old. So you guys also follow the journey with my 8-month-old because I posted like almost every week about the pregnancy with that. So guys, I feel like I owe you guys an update on what baby boy looks like. So I will go ahead and insert that right there. He's doing great. He's meeting all his milestones. He'll be 9 months on August 11th, so that's coming up. And yeah, so he is big, full of joy, smiles, everything. So you know, that's just an update on that. So about CNA. Okay guys, so if you guys do know, you guys follow my journey. Again, I started CNA school on January 30th, the day before my daughter's birthday. And I finished school on March 9th. We had to like prolong it. It was supposed to be like March 6th or March 3rd or something. But my teacher did have some I'm gonna cut that out. So we did have to go longer to March 9th because my teacher had some health issues. So we had to go ahead and push the school a week back or forward, I guess you would say. So again, I finished on March 9th. If you guys did watch the other video, I also uploaded when I got my test results from the mail. I was very emotional. It was a lot for me. Like, school is not one of my strongest points for me. It's not something that I particularly like. So I was really nervous. I had a bad anxiety, all that. So again, I passed both my written and my skills on, I think, April 17th. That day, y'all, I was not playing. I was not playing. After I did my little video for y'all, I left and went to 3 interviews that day. So I went to 3 interviews and I got hired at 2 places. But up here where I live in the IE. In the IE, they don't pay a lot. So the starting price for the first job that I was going to take was like, I think $15. But then I went with the girl I went to school with. Me and her, I can't say her name, but if you're watching it, hey girl, I miss you. Me and her went together to these interviews. Whatever. So I went to go get her, we went to the interviews, and the second job, we were like, you know what, we should just take this one or whatever. So we ended up taking that one. It's so funny because me and her didn't know how to tell the other person, like, hey, we took this job, because we had orientation on the same day for both jobs. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I never really quit jobs. I kind of just stopped going and don't go back because that's just me. Like, I just don't know. I just don't feel like, I don't feel like you're supposed to. That's how I felt. So but it's not the right thing to do. So you guys are supposed to quit and give a 2-week notice. That's just me being honest. But I don't typically do that. So anyway, we had got this job. We went to orientation. I'm gonna tell you guys, orientation for CNA jobs or nursing jobs are the most boring orientations there is. Like, they just play videos over and over again, videos about basically, I mean, they're good videos. They're about, like, not abusing the patient, about your rights, and about sexual harassment and all those things. I'm just like, can we get straight to the point? Let's get straight to it. I don't know why I want to jump straight into it, y'all, because I'm about to tell y'all. But that's typically how I felt. Like, the orientation videos are just annoying as heck. So I worked at this one place. I'm not gonna say because it's not too far from out where I am, but again, it's up in the IE area. And I was working there nighttime, so I would have to be at work, I believe, at 10:30. So it was me and the girl. We worked the same shifts. I think we were off like a day or 2 or whatever. So and my birthday was around the corner, y'all. So my birthday is May 5th. That was another thing. Like, I didn't want to take a job because I was already like, look, I'm celebrating my birthday. Like, I was just pregnant with this kid and then couldn't do nothing. The year before that, I did something. But the year before that, I was pregnant. Like, I'm always kind of like, not always. I was kind of pregnant around my birthdays or stuff like that. Or I just wasn't financially able to, like, celebrate my birthdays the way I wanted to. So I did go to the job and I did let them know that I had prior arrangements and they were cool with it and stuff like that. So we started our first night. Let me tell you, baby, I know at school they teach you about your skills, but doing it on a human person is a lot different, especially for me. Like I think I weigh like 117 right now, and me weighing 117, a lot of my residents or clients or patients, however you want to word them, they weigh like maybe like 150, like 200. I've had a 300 patient. Like, it was hard. So in the beginning, when I went to this place, we had 17 patients to ourselves. Again, 17. One person, 17. So I didn't understand how to put the chuck on, how to put the diaper on, how to put the sheet underneath it that goes underneath it. Like, it's like a flat sheet, you can kind of say. I didn't understand all of that. Like, I feel like I was brand new out of school. And don't get me wrong, the first 3 nights, actually, we shadowed somebody. So we shadowed somebody, and she was awesome. If you watch it, I don't think we follow each other, but if you end up watching it later on in life, hey girl. She was awesome. Like, don't get me wrong, like, she wasn't mean, she wasn't any of that. Like, but I do feel like as being a CNA, you have to learn your own techniques, your own ways of doing things. So the way she taught me, I thought it was pretty cool. But for me, it was really time consuming on my end. But for her, I tell you, when she would have her patients, knocking them out. So she would roll burritos. And so what burritos consist of is the flat sheet, you would say. I'm really bad with names, so it's not the flat sheet, it's a sheet underneath it. Then you have the chuck, and then those you have, there's 2 different types of chucks. So you have the pad chucks, and then you have like the disposable chucks. So she would use the disposable chucks. So she would use 2 disposable chucks. Mind you, I know in class and school they'll tell you that it is abuse and stuff like that. I feel like it also varies on the resident itself. So if you have a wider set resident, I think 2 is needed, because if you use 1 and they're like this big, they might end up using the bathroom or doing whatever the case may be on this side. So that was one of the things that she did. She took 2 chucks, put the diaper in there, and she knows exactly how to line it up. So she would roll it up. So when she goes to her residence, she knows what room she has. So when we go to the room, she'll tell me this one has a catheter, this one has a Foley. That's the same thing. Sorry, she has a Foley. This person has a urinal. This person is independent. This person is that. Mind you, coming out of school, I'm just like, okay, like, don't know what the heck she's talking about. I don't. So we go to this room or whatever, and we set up the thing and stuff like that. And the person I was working with, the girl I told you I went to school with, she had her own person too. But the person she was kind of training her wasn't like, I feel like as hands-on, I didn't want to really train. A lot of times when you go into these facilities and you get with CNAs, a lot of them don't want to train you. They don't want to like let you shadow them. They can be very mean, can just disappear on you and all types of stuff like that. So sometimes you just got to figure out your stuff. So she came with us like 2 times, whatever, to watch us. So she did the burritos, we rolled it up and stuff like that. The first day, I didn't have to like, touch the patients or anything like that. Just watch it do and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. So I will never get this room. I can say the room, I don't work there no more. Room 40A. When I tell you, that room almost made me quit. Like, so this person had hemorrhoids, very bad hemorrhoids. When I tell you, like, his hemorrhoids, his skin was off. So when I went in there, and he was very heavy set. So this person being very heavy set, when you rolled them, you didn't smell anything until you rolled them. And when you rolled them, it was like death. It honestly was like death, right? So when you rolled this person, it was a lot. It was a lot. So I couldn't like, I'm not good with smells. Like, I can't do nasty smells or nothing like that. So I said, hold on, give me a second, and I walked out or whatever. So I walked out because it was a lot. There was blood, there was hemorrhoids, there was all those type of things. So I walked out, and I was like, oh my God, like I can't do it. Like, I just can't. So I went and grabbed 3 masks and put it over my face. So I grabbed 3 masks and put it over my face and stuff like that. And so then I walked back in. I'm like, I could do this. I couldn't do it. I literally walked out again. Mind you guys, that's my son downstairs. But I couldn't do it. Like, I was just like, yeah, no. So, I walked out, me being funny. I went on TikTok, like, how do you like get rid of smells, or how do you get rid of all that or whatever. So on TikTok, what I did find, and I feel like that worked for me a little bit in that scenario or situation, because also that wasn't the only thing that bothered me. Like, when you walk through the facility, it smelled like straight piss. Like, you smell pee all through. Like, it just smelled like death all the way through the whole thing. So I had learned that you could put toothpaste, put a mask on, put toothpaste on that mask, and put another mask on. So then it helps like absorb, so you don't smell anything else. Which I feel like you should have just worn N95 mask or whatever, but no, I literally could not do it. So I would put that on, but it still smelled really bad because we had that next run. They're called runs. So if you're new, when you go to the hospitals or you go to a sniff or whatever the case may be, you'll have a thing called a run. So in the run that we had, it literally it just smelled so bad. Like, I think the facility itself just was not the best facility that it could be. Don't get me wrong that there is a lot of patients there. There's like 120 patients. And for per person, you probably get like 20 of them, and some of them, like maybe 5 of them are independent or don't need anything. But anyway, we would roll our burritos, put them on the end of the bed, and then we would go ahead and, do our changes and stuff like that. So I feel like for me, the facility was great because I worked in a facility that wasn't the most pleasant, I guess you could say. It made me like value. I used to tell my mom all the time, like, you're going to a nursing home. I called my mom and was like, Mom, you know how I said you was going to a nursing home? I'm just kidding. Yeah, my mom's never going to a nursing home. I'm sorry. Like, not all CNAs are bad, and it's not always CNA's fault. So I've met some CNAs, RNs, LVNs, just lazy. There are certain things that they just weren't doing, and for me, like, I just was like, ugh. But for $15.50, I feel like this wasn't the place for me, because when you're paying me minimum wage and I'm dealing with heavyset people, I can go flip a burger at Burger King and make the same amount per week. Like, the money I was making, I wasn't able to, like, I'm not able to pay a lot of my bills. Like, I have real bills, like, and I'm not discouraging somebody who doesn't and who is working there and stuff like that, to your own prerogative or whatever you want to call it. But for me, I was literally making like $1,000 every 2 weeks. Like, I did that on my own, working my own businesses. If you do follow, you guys know that I have businesses. So for me, it's like, I'm going to work, lifting people, getting yelled at, getting peed on, showering people, all types of things for $15 an hour. Like, nah, I'm gonna look somewhere else. So my boyfriend's auntie always telling me, oh, she works at this place. So the day that I actually had orientation, I went and I had applied for a job while I was sitting in the orientation place. So this job was paying $24 an hour. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply. I applied, like 5 minutes later, they called me. And I'm like, what the heck? So I ran into the bathroom. I went in the bathroom. They're like, hi, I would like to set up an interview, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. So set up the interview for Friday. So I set up the interview, went up there. They loved me. They said we have to do the background test, we have to do a TB test, we have to do a physical, you have to do all these things before you can get hired. I'm like, okay, how long can it take? This like a month. Okay, me, like, since I still have to, sorry guys, I had a phone call. So, yeah, so I had to wait a month for that. So I stayed at the job because I still wanted to learn. And I feel like I need to pick up a few things before I went to another job, because again, I'm fresh out of it. I feel like we didn't learn a lot of the skills that we're supposed to. So there's 22 or 23 skills, I believe. And we only went over like 10 of them. So the rest of them was kind of like a playing catch up when you're working at these facilities. And again, you learn your own techniques. So when I would watch somebody, everyone's doing something different. I felt like me and the girl, we were working together, and we started tag teaming the rooms together. So what that means is she had her set of rooms, I had my set of rooms. I wrote down, I have this paper that I got, which, do I have any in here? I don't have any in here, but I'll find it or whatever. And they're vital sign papers. So vital sign papers, they will have, the blood pressure, this and that, or whatever. On them, I would write the room number of each person. And when we were done with them and our blood pressure and stuff, we would check them off. So I gave her some, cut it in half, write down all our rooms, and we'd be like, okay, let's start from here to here. We would go ask before our shift, is this patient independent, catheter, this and that. I asked all those questions. So we would go in and we would tag team the rooms. So tag teaming the rooms, oh my God, I gotta sneeze. Okay, no, I don't. We would tag team the rooms. Diapers, chucks, whatever. We tried the burrito method. We did the burrito method for a while, and then me and her was talking like, this ain't really working for us. Like, it works for her. It makes it faster for her, but it makes it more time consuming for us because we didn't know where the diaper line. So let's say, for instance, this is somebody's butt crack or whatever, and let's say the butt crack is right right here, right? Sometimes the diaper will be too far up, so then we're having to roll them still and having to pull it down, or we have it too far down and trying to pull it up and all types of things like that. So we felt like, okay, maybe the chuck and stuff would be cool to have underneath it and then place the diaper and then push, have them roll to the other side and then pull it under, because it was taking more time for us to do it. When I tell you my first few nights of doing CNA, to change all of my people, it would take us 3 hours and 17 minutes to change 17 people, which sounds very like, okay, cool. No, everyone near us that has been CNA, I guess, for a while, you would say, knocking them out in an hour done. Like, I'm like, oh my God, 3.5 hours. By the time I'm going home, I'm already exhausted. Mind you, I work from 10 to 6:30 in the morning, getting off, take my daughter to school, all types of things. So I'm exhausted when I get off. So we started tag teaming in the room. Some of them, if we knew that they weren't as bad as, it wasn't that bad, but as heavy for us or hard for us, I'm like, you do this one, I do this one. So it got to a point where we were doing the rooms, but I feel like we were doing so many more because we were tag teaming them together. So it wasn't like, it was helpful because she was able to turn them for me, or she was able to turn them for her. But then there's some times where her residents were harder than mine, or mine were harder than hers. So some nights it'd be like, damn, bitch, if I would have did this myself, it would have been easier. You know, and I know she felt the same way too, but we still were tag teaming them. So I was just like, you know what, how about this? We do the ones that we can do, and then the ones we can't do, we tag team together, so it just makes it a lot faster, because I feel like we were just in there for a long time. So that's what we started doing or whatever. And I finally had got the job at the new place. And I felt so bad because I didn't want to leave her, because nobody was really messing with her. Not like her, but like us, because we were new. They were like, I don't know, like these are new CNAs and stuff like that. And me and her, like, bro, I would bring my iPad to work. I'd bring snacks and chips to work. We in here having a good old time. I'm the type of person, when we work, yes, we could be serious in the moment, but I also like to have fun. Like, we're going to have fun. We're going to talk to the patients and interact with them and stuff like that. So for me, I was kind of sad on that part, because like she was like my work bestie, and like I had a lot of fun and stuff like that. And then there's also residents. For me, I've noticed that with working with the residents, I do get attached. I had one of my favorite residents, and I was so sad to leave this person, because they reminded me of my grandfather. And I was just like, oh, you're so sweet. And he will always tell me, like, you know, you're really sweet, you're very patient, you're very understanding, and you just come in here. I sometimes wouldn't even be my resident, and I would just go in there still and check on them, like, hey, how you doing? Because I could see, like, they progress, they're here, and they start degressing. So I noticed that he started degressing. So I was just like, oh, let me go check on them and stuff like that. You'd be like, oh, can you go give me some Lay's chips and a Coke? Sure can, or whatever. And he's like, oh, here goes the money. Again, mind you guys, when residents offer to give you money for things, I don't take it. I just feel like I don't want to be in the, I gave you money and this and that. No, it was like $2 for chips and some soda. I could spare $2. They were offering, no, I'm cool, keep your money, and I'll go buy it for them, because I just felt like it just wasn't that serious to take their money, and I don't want to be caught in a situation where I took their money. We have one resident, worked my nerve every time I had them. So I was so excited when I didn't have them. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. When I went in the room, this person had money all over their bed. Like, when I tell you all over their bed, and I went right to my manager already, or whatever, my nurse, charge nurse, and I'm like, I'm not changing him. I'm not changing him until he puts his money away, because I'm not trying to get caught up in you took my money. I'm like, blah 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 blah, put your money away, blah blah, or go money. So I told her, they came in and they took the money, because I was just like, I'm not happening. You're not gonna get me fired for touching your money. And I've heard that situation has happened with that person previous time. So I was like, I'm not gonna be me. So that was one of the instances that I feel like I had. Other than that, all my residents loved me. Like, you know, some of them would talk mess and scream at you and yell at you. That's part of the game, part of the stuff. So I left that job. I was only there for a month, and I left that job May 19th, because I celebrated my birthday, and I did go back for 3 days. So actually, you guys, remember I was telling you guys in the beginning of this video that I necessarily don't quit jobs, right? But I wanted my check, my little $800 check. I did not care. So I went in there, I'm like, look, I want to know, you know, I got offered another job. I mind working here 2-3 days, and I'll work there, blah, 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 if it's fine. A lot of facilities, when you work there, don't want you to, they want you to have open availability on weekends. Most times that's when more shifts are available, is on weekends. So why y'all saying that? Give me 1 second. Yeah, so they want you to have more availability on weekends. So they're like, no, I'm sorry, And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to put my 2-week notice in. For me, I wasn't gonna stay at a job that was paying me $15.50 an hour, and I was making $1,000 every 2 weeks. It just wasn't worth it to me. I can go get a regular job and not work night times and not be cleaning blood and pee and showering people and doing all these type of things. Don't get me wrong, I like doing it, whatever, but I'm not doing it for $1,550. It just wasn't, no, not for me. So I put my 2-week notice in or whatever, or not my 2-week notice, I put in my 3-day notice because I was going to be starting the next job in 3 days and stuff like that. So I did my 2 days, or I did my day, and then I didn't go back after that. I did my day, and I was like, look, I can't go back, like something, I don't know, something had happened or something. But I still quit. Like, I wrote my letter out, and I was like, hey, you know, I'm resigning, due to upgrading my job or whatever the case may be. Gave me a runaround on my check. That's what I don't like about quitting jobs. They try to give you a runaround on your check. So they gave me a runaround on my check for a few days, and then they finally gave me my check. Mind you, I already started this job. So I'm at the new job. This facility, I wasn't even at a facility. I was at a hospital at this point. At the hospital I was at, I loved it because of the setup. Like, you know, so for me, I love the fact that it was only 20, about 20, it could be 20 residents in this place. So for me, that was a lot easier. And then you're working with 2 other people. So again, you do orientation again. Yeah. So at the orientation, but this orientation was 3 days. We had orientation for 3 days, and then I'm shadowing somebody for 2 weeks, I believe. So I work daytime. So when you work at hospitals, typically you work 12 hours. So I was working at a facility. I was only working 3 days a week. So I was working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I was working 7 a.m. to 7:30 at night. So me working those 3 days, I thought it was perfect. I was off Monday through Thursday. I was able to spend more time with my kids and stuff like that. And I was shadowed by like one of the best people there. I feel like they were very like in tune with the patients. They were very detailed about how to do things and how to go about it, where are things at, and everything like that. So for me, I liked the person I was shadowed because I got taught a lot of little things that I feel like I wouldn't have got taught by anybody else. So I do appreciate that. For me, the residents were a lot more not needy, but needy in a positive way, I guess you could say. Since there are less residents, you can accommodate their needs a lot more. So that's kind of what you did, changing out the pictures and coming to the room with the call light on. At this place, they don't play. When the call light comes on, go to the room, check on them, see what they want. At certain facilities, that call light can be on for hours and just nothing is happening, no one's going to check on them. But it's a lot harder trying to check on 17 patients and instead of checking on, let's say, 5 or 7 of them. So that was one of the things that I feel like I liked there. In the beginning, it was really hard for me. These patients are very particular on how certain things go. Like, you know, if you find something like this, put it back like this. Don't put it like this. Don't put it like that. They are going to have an attitude, have a problem. They want to be tucked a certain way, clothed a certain way, dressed a certain way, up at a time at a certain way. So sometimes that could be a lot. So for me, it was hard because I'm learning all new people again. And it was just like, oh my God. But the only thing cool about it is since you're going to be in rotation with your runs, you're in rotation. 1 week you'll have these 5 people. Next week you'll have these 5 people. Next week you'll have that 5 people. So you learn everyone as a whole because you're able to switch off at different things. Again, there, like, I was there for about a month as well. The facility for me, it wasn't for me because I felt very uncomfortable, I would say. And it's not speaking nothing bad on them. I do like the facility. I like the setup. I like everything like that. But I just felt like with some of management that I wasn't going to succeed because there was a lot of conflict. For me, I am a very goofy person, but when it came to residents and when it comes to my job ethic, you can't question that. I work really hard and I'm very attentive to my residents. Don't get me wrong, I am human and I do make mistakes. I might forget a water pitcher. I might forget to give you a razor. I might forget certain things or like, oh shoot, I forgot. Because at the same time too, I have so many things going on in my mind, which is not, an excuse, but I have a lot of things that I'll forget. But at the same time too, one thing when my residents could say is, I was mean, I was very attentive, I was very, I always remember certain things. I had one resident where they're particular. After they ate, they wanted their beard combed. After they ate, they wanted to wipe their face. It got to a point to where this resident was like, oh my God, I really appreciate you not having to repeat this to you, you really remember. I'm like, well, you have to live in this condition. For me, I would like to make it a better situation for you, so where, it shows that we care, shows that you understand. So I would get their food, give them a towel, give them a brush whatever you take. I'll come back in 5 minutes, I got you. there would be times, don't get me wrong, as humans, I have emotions, they have emotions. There'd be weeks where we just would clash a little bit. Not even because it wasn't that long. It would be a week where we would clash a little bit. But for the most time, it was funny because it got to a point with one resident where they would try to test me. So this person was put themselves on a time schedule when they wanted to be changed. So the time schedule was 9, 12, 3:30, and 5:45. So it got to a point to where I would have all the stuff ready and stand by the door, and it would be like, let's say it gets changed at 3:30. This person gets changed at 3:30, and this person would ring the thing at 3:29, and I walk in there. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just trying to see if you. I remember, you can't test me. Like I'm on this. I got this. So I got to a point to where I was really on it about certain things. I remember certain things. If it's just two people who want to get up at the same time, and I know that I have to do it at a certain time, okay, let me get this person up, hurry up, run to the next person. So I was very attentive with that. But my work environment made me very uncomfortable. It just wasn't for me, and I got to a point where, I called my mom, and I called my boyfriend's mom, and I called I called older people because I was trying to get an understanding. I am 28 now. So me being 28, I'm trying to be a lot more professional in certain situations and not thinking. I'm a very irrational person. So I typically work on emotions, and I would just be like, deuces, I'm good, I don't care. And I wasn't trying to think like that. I was trying to really let me use my brain and let me think about it. And if you guys do know, as a CNA, RN, or LVN, you're able to go ahead and use registry. So I would see stuff on registry, and I'm working for $24 an hour. You don't get overtime. You don't get overtime until after your 44 hours or something like that. So I would be making $288 a day, and this is for 12 hours, and I felt like I could be making more. I would see 12-hour shifts on registry for $400 and something, right? And I'm like, I'm not liking where I'm working. I feel like I'm very uncomfortable. I feel like I'm getting picked on. I feel like there's certain things that just wasn't necessarily right. One, I'm driving through the mountains to go to work. My car situation isn't the best. I guess you could say my car wasn't up to par the way it needs to be. So it was a lot of things that I was factoring to, I'm working 12 hours and no overtime and stuff like that. And I liked the residents. I really did. Don't get me wrong, there's their days and stuff like that. But then I called my mom, and mom was like, well, if you're not happy, just quit. And I told her, I came up with this plan. I'm like, Mom, I could do registry. I could make my own hours. I can do it how I want to do it. And I still run my business, so I still make that money. So it's not like I'm really losing. If I lose a little less, I just got to pick up in another area, I feel like. So we had a family situation that caused me to be off anyway. And when I was going to go back, I just told them, you know what, I just need to resign. It's not for me. And, give me my PTO, give me my check, and I'm ready to go. I'll turn in my badge. So then at that day or the next day after that, I quit. I go ahead and started doing registry. So how registry works is there's apps. There's Medley, there's Clipboard, there's Nurse Loop, there's Care Links. There is so many different ones, and I signed up with both of them already prior to working at this hospital. So I would start picking up shifts, and I'm like, okay, let me pick them up. So with registry, you're not stuck in the same place. You kind of go to different areas. So I've gone to El Monte, I've gone to Rialto, I've gone to gone to Silmar, Sun Valley, Glendora, places I ain't never heard of, Hacienda Heights, and all types of places. So I was going to all those places, and I actually liked it better. But the only thing I don't like about typically doing registry a little bit is the fact that you never know what you're walking into yourself into. When you work at a facility, okay, when I go to work and I got John Smith, okay, I'm about to have HELL, basically. When I go to facilities, you get your run, and you don't know your patients. Sometimes you have nurses who are very helpful, who will tell you about your run. Me, personally, I'm going to walk in, I'm going to ask you every time. I don't care if it irritates you, it makes you mad. Tell me about these people. Independent, catheter, Foley, creams, this, that, independent, what's going on with these people? They'll tell me, oh, independent, this and that, Cool. Up in the first facility I worked at, a registry, I met a real cool person, and the only thing I didn't like is that they didn't have a lot of supplies for the facility, for the amount of patients they had. So, residents want to take a shower. Okay, I can't give you a shower. We don't have anything to do it. I'm not about to use, I wear gloves and stuff like that. Sometimes you walk in the facility and it says no COVID. You go and there's COVID patients. You go in and you got MRSA patients, and you got all types of patients. And that's what I dealt with the first time when I first had to shadow somebody. We had a person with MRSA. And you do have to do your PPP and put them on right and stuff like that. I wasn't comfortable because I didn't do it. I don't like putting myself in situations and I don't know I don't know how to do it. I'm gonna tell you I don't know how to do it, because if not, I risk my license and I can go to jail if I hurt a patient, I kill a patient, or anything happens. So I'm very vocal on that. Like, no, I don't know how to do this. Like, it's not that I don't want to do it. Can you do it first so I can see, so I can understand and see how that works? So that was one of the things that but it can be frustrating, because like, let's say for so again, I quit that job. I started doing registry. I got off work at one of these, I think I was in Rialto. They called me, said my check was ready. I said, okay, well, I'll be there. I picked up a shift. It was a good shift. So when I picked up the shift, I came after work. I got off work. I did 8 hours, got off work, drove, picked up my check, didn't get home till 1 o'clock in the morning, because it's an hour there and then an hour home. It's two different areas. So for me, I like registry a lot better because you do get paid more. You get paid instantly. The only thing that is like kind of a bummer is that they don't take out taxes. So if they're not taking out taxes at the end of the year, you could be paying a lot more in taxes if you know how to work it, like many. Usually, not saying like in a lying way, just saying you know how to write off your mileage, write off your phone, write off your this and your that, and your oils and the repairs that you put on your car. That could work for you. Or what you can also do is every check, when you do get some money off of everyone, is take out a certain amount of percent, so then you have that money to the side, so when it is time to file your taxes, you're not paying a whole lump sum back for the money that you did earn. That's just a suggestion for me. I don't personally do it right now. I'm not going to tell you I do it and I lie to you guys. I don't personally do it right now. I feel like I'm going to talk to my tax lady, because I just started doing it, so I could talk to my tax lady and ask her how much I should take out and stuff like that, and she'll tell me. So for me though, I like it because I get attached to the residents. Again, at my second place that I worked at, that's being a CNA, like the first week I was there, it was a lady there, and the food isn't particularly good. I did ask the charge nurse, like, hey, look, do you mind if I bring her some fried chicken and a biscuit? They was like, yeah. I brought her a biscuit and stuff like that. I'm like, here, eat it for your lunch, because lunch ain't here, like, it's not appealing, or it doesn't look good. It looks disgusting. The food that they have to eat just looks horrible. Like, they're cooks. I feel bad for them. Like, that's the only, I'm like, Some of them will DoorDash their foods and be like, no. But working in the mountains, like, there's no one's coming to DoorDash and nothing. Like, there was barely a Domino's. I wouldn't even eat at work because the food wasn't not happening. I just eat when I get home, or if I bring a lunch, I bring a lunch. But yeah, the next resident, I didn't know them that long. So like, I brought them, it was their birthday, I brought them a little cake, like, here you go. I just want to, I do notice that some residents don't have family that come and visit them, or don't have family at all, or just, don't have a connection with their family. So I just feel like it's important to show them that they matter and that their birthday's important. So I bought a cake and I drew for them. They posted it on the wall and stuff like that, and I appreciated that, and they appreciated, like, they didn't say it initially, they're not that person, but then when we were starting to grow, like, closer, as CNA and a resident, they're like, I appreciated that, like, I didn't show it, I didn't say it, but thank you. And I was like, you're welcome, like, you don't have to thank me, I just feel like it's the right thing to do for you guys. So yeah, I've been doing registry. I do like registry. What I do have to say about registry is it's sometimes hard. That's why I paused, because I was looking for a shift or whatever, because I'm trying to work tomorrow. But it's kind of hard because you're battling against so many people. So if you're not on it, you're not going to find shifts. So me, this week I've been off, which is kind of good for me. I've been working on growing my businesses and spending time with my kids, because I was working prior to this. 2 of my kids were gone with my mom, so I was just working 7 days straight. I don't recommend working 7 days straight because it will burn you out. Like, it would not even the shift itself, it's just residents and people. Like, after working with residents, it kind of makes you like not want to be connected with people. So I have people who call me and I just be like, I don't feel like talking. Like, I deal with people all day long, so I don't be wanting to talk. I have gotten food spit at me, I've gotten hit, I've gotten dirty diapers, changing diapers over again, I've gotten peed on, I've gotten grabbed on, called a B word, the N word. I've gotten called all types of things, and I have to understand a lot of them were born in a time where they particularly weren't able or not to deal with African American people, or they're just not their prerogative. I have people who you have dementia, Alzheimer's, or they're just very aggressive people. So I have to understand that it's not their fault, like, and I don't walk into a situation being mean to these people. I walk in, hi, do you need anything? Are you sure? Are you okay? Okay. Hi, I'm because if I was in that situation, how would I want to be treated? Or if that was my grandmother, how would I want to be treated? And I'm not just saying this because I'm recording a video and talking to you guys. Like, this is typically how I really feel. So there was a time where I was supposed to be going to work and I just couldn't do it because I felt that day that I wasn't mentally in it. Like, I was telling myself, you could do it, you could do it, you could do it. But I was working so many days that I was burnt out, and I was just like, I can't. Like, I'm getting angry the more closer I'm getting. Like, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to deal with people today. Like, I don't. So I feel like when you feel like that, listen to that, because if you can go into that situation and you didn't listen to that, and listen, that patient smacks you today, you smack them back, you're fired. You're getting your license taken. So, you know, typically too, your well-being is just as important as taking care of somebody else. You know, also treat these people how you would want your family to be treated. Like, I'm really big on that. Like, you know, I have some residents who will be like, leave me the fuck alone. Say less. I'm gonna still come ask you again if you want your brief changed or your diaper changed or whatever case, because you're not gonna tell me I sat here and let you sit in your pee. I'm gonna ask you again. They can refuse a shower, they can refuse food, they can refuse getting changed, they can refuse all that. But I'm going to, after the end of the day, if you don't let me change you, I'm going to make you let me change you, and somebody's gonna have to come in and help me change you, because you're not gonna get my license taken because you don't want to be changed. So there's a lot that you do with it. A lot of people come into the CNA field, and I could say, not say per se me, I never thought I would be a CNA or even a nurse. You know, I came into the field thinking, oh, this is easy peasy. Just change somebody. No. You have people who bleed, hemorrhoids, bed sores, their poop comes out of their front, the woman's front part. You have situations where, like, the resident is very aggressive and don't like you or don't like none of that. There's times where they're very particular and you're not listening, and they're aggravated and stuff like that. You know, you have your own personal issues that go on at home. You're a human and stuff like that. And, you know, sometimes that's not taken into account with the resident. They're worried about them. If you don't come back to them, why are you gonna come back to me? I'm like, listen, I have 20 people. I'm trying to attend to all you guys as I can be. So it is really hard. Now, for me, I never understood why people say you get tired of bedside. I understand. I've only been doing it, since April, May, June, July. I've been doing it for 3 months. I can't see myself doing bedside for 20-something years. You know, I also see people who have been a CNA for 20+ years who have carpal tunnel or arthritis, or their back is giving out and stuff like that. And that's not something that I particularly want to do. Now, the nursing field wasn't a field that I particularly wanted to do. My mom wanted me to do. Hey, Mom, shout out to you. Woo woo. And also, me having 3 kids, I needed to find something that was financially stable for my kids, even though Dad does work and stuff like that, but it was still something that I could provide aside from my business, because again, running your business, you might sell these today and sell this tomorrow. Yeah, I was using it. And you might not sell, but the next day you might sell, the next day you might sell all of these. You might sell all of these, you know, and then you even might sell your eyeliner. You might sell all of it one day. But, you know, there's times where nothing sells. So, you know, I'm waiting on hopes and stuff like that. So for me, I do like it. But I will be doing videos on that. I am looking into going to school right now for either LVN or RN. I haven't decided which one, but I do know I do want to do RN. It's a lot longer, but because I didn't want to do both, because you do spend money on both. So I do feel like, you know, it's kind of not pointless, but it's kind of cost a lot to do both. This one I've heard is like 40 to 50 and up, but this one I've heard is like 80 to 100,000 and up. So for me, I don't typically want to pay that amount. But school for this one is like a year and some change. This one is like 4 years, because you can get your BSN, and it's just a bachelor's science in nursing or something like that. So, you know, I've been weighing on my options. I do have younger kids, and I do think if I finish now, by the time I'm done, 4 years from now, my youngest one will be, 4, 5, 6 will be 6. My youngest son, one of my sons will be 6, and my youngest son will be 4. My daughter will be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. She'll be 12 by the time that I do finish nursing school and I do have my BSN. So that's something I do look at and I do think about, because that typically this is for them, because I want them to have a good living situation. I'm happy that I'm able to provide everything that I'm able to provide for them, and I'm still financially okay. So with CNA as registry, I do recommend it. And, you know, I'm not all the way 100% on all my skills and do everything I can. I do ask questions and I do learn as I go, but I do feel like I get paid more I'm valued more, and I just feel like I like it better. I can go to different places and I don't get attached to the residents, because I leave and I don't have to, like, you know, be like, oh, I feel sad and stuff like that. You know, I do the best that I can when I'm there, and I even when I leave, I'm like, hey guys, I'm ending my shift. I just want to tell you guys I'm leaving for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have anything you need, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll probably see you next time. You know, the only thing that is a downside again with registry is that sometimes you don't get a tour. So I don't know where landing is. I don't know where this is. I don't know where that is. I don't know if the resident can walk, if they can't walk. Some of them aren't talking. I don't know if they're in pain. I don't know what's going on. So, but I do try to pay very close attention, because I had one place that I went to and the resident wasn't talking, or would say just no. And I'm like, you want to watch TV? No. But you just wouldn't say anything. So I figured, okay, well, when they say don't say anything, that's when they're, that's what they wanted. So they're like, really? I've been here for a month and I couldn't figure out what was it. I said, when they don't respond, because I'd be like, I said, when I asked, I said, when you don't respond, does that mean yes? They said. And I said, so if you respond, then you don't need help? No. It literally takes 2 seconds to sit there and basically try to listen to these people's needs. So for registry, I do enjoy that part and making my own schedule. The only thing I can say, it can cause you to be lazy sometimes. Like, oh, I'll make that money back. Me, I was chilling this week. I'm financially okay with chilling this week. I would have been cool to make that extra money, but I do plan on working tomorrow and Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I'll make up my 4 days regardless and stuff like that. I'm going to the next week, so I might have to work a little bit harder, or just work a little bit harder on the business, or y'all can buy some eyelashes and lip glosses, you know what I'm saying? But I want to give you guys a rundown about that, about my experiences and what I've done. CNA is not a job that is just easy and it's just a walk in the park, but I do recommend it if you do have a care for people and you do want to grow in the nursing field. It's a field that you can grow in. I like the fact that if I quit one job and I'm just not, oh, my license is a waste, I can go wherever, whenever. There's jobs out here that, they pay like $19 an hour. Not happening. But, I'm glad that I did listen and I did go to CNA school, and, it's been a pleasure so far. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on how so far my journey is with being a CNA. And I hope this helped anybody who did need help. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead and reach out to me on my Instagram at that's_sonessa. It'll be down below at the end of this video. Also, you can write me in the comments here. If I don't see it, reach out to me, because I don't mind answering questions, I don't mind helping you out with certain things that I feel like I wish somebody else would have helped me out with, or answering questions that I don't know and I can find somebody else who don't know, or I'll tell you I don't know. So again, if you guys can do me a favor and like and subscribe to this video, and I'm gonna post me some scrubs maybe. But yeah, you guys enjoy this video and have a blessed day.
Yeah, cause girls is players too. Keep it playing, baby. Cause girls is players too.